when they die.
You're the most cold-blooded man I've ever seen.
How can you have any meat if you don't eat your pudding?
The Tommy Boyds Show.
Back and to the left. Yeah.
The show with more endurance than radiation itself.
You say either, and I say either.
Apparently official. Stand by, please.
Tommy.
There's no escaping here.
Tommy Boyds.
Good morning, class. Put your hand down, Kennard. I know what it's about, and the answer is still no. Can we settle down? Thank you. You won't need books for the first part of today's lesson, and I'll be giving a summary at the end, which will enable you to have a written record of today's lesson. Can we settle down, please, at the back? Which, as you know, is your compulsory, as prescribed by the national curriculum, sex education. My name is Mr. Boyd, and over the next half an hour or so, I am going to explain the fundamentals of what we shall call family planning, which you have discovered in your own travels. I'll ask you either to put your hand up if you're down at the front, or you can telephone me if you're too far away. The number, of course, is 3-call 0500 53 89. So, compulsory sex education, and we'll begin this lesson by discussing, in simple terms, the procedure involving two willing partners who are heterosexual and members of the opposite sex. So we're talking here about a man and a woman, and it's necessary to put aside moral and legal considerations. So, again, for the purpose of this lesson, they are old enough and entitled to, and considering having sex in a lawful place. Whether or not it is the first occasion for either or both of them shall be immaterial, because we shall not, during this part of the lesson, although if you wish to ask questions on this aspect of it, please feel free to put your hand up or to telephone with your question a little later. We shall not be going into great detail about the emotional aspect of this part of family planning. Now, for sex to take place between two willing and lawful citizens, it is necessary for some form of attraction to take... Can you please stop it, Lucy? Thank you. It is necessary for some form of attraction to take place between at least one of the two partners for the other. The male finds it necessary for a part of his anatomy, which is referred to medically, yes, penis, to harden, which is normally achieved through the arousal caused by the attraction, which I referred to a moment ago. Without such arousal and consequent hardening, which is caused by an increase in the flow of blood into the male's organ, then the organ in question would be described as, who knows what this word means? Who knows what this word says? This is flaccid, which means limp, and therefore unable to perform its function within the realm of family planning. But assuming that the arousal has taken place in the male, he is then ready to Yes, I heard somebody whisper it. Penetrate. Well done. His partner. Now, the degree of arousal experienced by the woman is useful to her, but not necessary for the act of sex to take place between the two partners, although it improves the experience considerably. When aroused, prior to the act of sex, the male places his into his partner's, I think we all know what that word is, and after a period of time which can be as little as a few seconds, or if the partners are engaged in this act of family planning for pleasurable purposes, several minutes, or in the case of those who are well practiced in the art of lovemaking, more than several minutes, the male releases from his organ which contain the essential genetic material encoded in its DNA strands, which once released in a mucus-like substance which both protects and assists their passage towards their target, if you like, which is the egg, which may or may not be fertilized by this act. Women are born with all the eggs that they are likely to need to have as many children as they choose, or is chosen for them, at birth. And every 28 days, their body ensures that an egg is placed in the right position for fertilization to take place. And unless the sperm are impeded in their journey to the egg, then conception, which is the physical meeting of the sperm with the egg, will take place at some time within the hour of their release, usually between 7 and 17 minutes after the male has ejaculated. So, although there are a great many other issues which attend the business of conception and procreation, there you have simplicity itself, the act of sex. Other matters such as conception and other activities relating to sex can be discussed according to questions which you may wish to ask. I would stress that I'm not a great expert. No sniggering, thank you, all of you, on the subject. And that as a biology teacher, my personal experience, to one side, is limited to the sexual activity of aphids. However, as you are all now of the age at which it is lawful for you to enjoy, if that is the right word, heterosexual sex, if there is anything I can clear up of yours for you, then put your hands up or telephone if you're at the back. Free call 0500 1053 89. I am Mr. Boyd, and this is Talk Radio.
Please send all complaints about today's Tommy Boyd show to the Tommy Boyd Complaints Department, Talk Radio, PO Box 1089, London W1A 1PP.
So he must be right. Pew.
2,
Pew.
3,
Barnum.
4,
McGrew.
5,
Cuthbert.
6,
Dibble.
7,
Boyd.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, it's back to school, and now that you're in the sixth form, it's decided that compliance with the national curriculum's requirement for an hour of sex education should be undertaken as quickly in the school calendar year as possible. So I don't expect to see anybody writing anything down. I do have something to hand out to you at the end of the lesson, which will cover most of the topics that I've already touched on. But questions. Anne, you have your hand up in Hertford.
Oh, Mr. Boyd.
Anne.
I'm so glad to be able to come to your lesson. I'm asking for a friend of mine because you know I wouldn't ask for myself. What are you going to hand out at the end of the lesson, by the way? Oh, I see. It's just my friend has been wondering. Do you know what condoms are?
Condoms, yes.
Well, my friend's been wondering, do they come in different sizes?
Very well, Anne, you can put your hand down. Class, condoms are probably the most popular form of contraception which are employed in the Western world and have none of the difficulties which can be associated with the pill, which we'll come to later. A condom is a sheath which ensures that the male's sperm is not released into his partner and therefore cannot reach and fertilize her egg. And your question is about the sizes of condoms.
Well, that's what my friend has been wanting to know, yeah?
Can I ask, Anne, and please, can I ask the rest of the class, since these are important things, that we don't in any way inhibit any of the other class members if they want to ask important questions and provide us with important information. And have you ever been into a chemist's to buy a condom?
Oh, goodness me, no.
No. Well, I think it's very...
But my friend wants to know, do they come in different sizes?
Yes, they do. They come in different sizes, and for that matter, different shapes. And you can...
Shapes?
Yes.
Oh, goodness. What sort of shapes do they come in, then?
Well, some condoms can... and different flavours, come to think of it.
Bananas or...
Yes.
Cucumbers or...
They can be ribbed for your pleasure.
Oh, I see.
Because it's important to remember that the act of sex is not merely a mechanical one, but something which can provide both partners with a lot of pleasure.
How do you know what size to get, is what my friend wanted to know.
Yes.
Supposing she was thinking of going to a club and might be... I mean, how do you carry different sizes in your bag?
It depends what sort of a club you're thinking of going to. If, for example, you're going to the rugby club, you'd probably be all right if you just had a packet of 3 small ones.
Oh.
But if you're cruising the nightclubs of Hertford, Anne, it might be a good idea if you had small, medium and large, ribbed for your pleasure, and possibly some strawberry ones. Strawberry flavoured ones.
They're flavoured as well as...
Yes. Yes?
Goodness me. How do you find this information out, Mr. Boyd?
Well, it's my job as a teacher to know these things so that I'm best equipped to answer any of your questions. And I'm very glad, Anne, that you put your hand up, as it were, and asked a very important question relating to a very important aspect of sex education, which is contraception. So thank you, Anne.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions? Yes. Sumner in Coventry. Put your hand down. What's your question, Sumner?
Mr. Boyd, my dad, he's a rock musician, and he's off with my mum for hours and hours and hours. And I hear him talking over the breakfast table, and they keep mentioning tantric sex. What's that all about, then?
Tantric sex? Thank you, Sumner. Well, I'm very glad you asked the question, because it does lead us into one very important aspect of sex, which is that it can be quite good fun. And generally speaking, most partners report that the longer it lasts, the more fun it is. Various ways have been tried in the past by practitioners of sex to ensure that it lasts for as long as possible. And when I was a boy, one was advised to think of David Gower.
Yeah, but Mr. Boyd, I mean, they've been in there after lunch, and they've been in there until, like 9:30, 10, 12 o'clock at night.
Yes. Your parents are, if they are practicing tantric sex, first of all, one blames Sting for this. the rock musician who's made it fashionable. And secondly, they are extending, if I can put it that way, the act of sex in order to maximize the physical and, in their case, emotional pleasures which can be carried with the sex act.
So, how does it work then?
Well, as I understand it, and you must accept that as a humble biology teacher, my knowledge of tantric sex is quite rudimentary and very much third person, if I can put it like that. But it involves being very fit and supple and at the same time having sufficient mental discipline to ensure that you and your partner are as aroused as possible without completing the sex act by having here's another word which we haven't had yet. Gasm. There. Does that answer your question, Sumner?
Well, how do you stop it, like, from happening?
Well, I think the tantric sex is merely a convoluted Eastern variant on what we've done in Britain for a long time, if we want to enjoy the moment and make it last, as it were, and that is to think of something else.
Oh.
Like David Gower.
Oh, I see.
Or possibly Zoe Ball or something, I don't know. Are you with me?
Oh, I see.
Thank you, Sumner.
Thank you.
If there are any more questions, could you please put your hand up? Or if you're right at the back, you can use your telephone. Free call 0500 1053 89. It's an hour of sex education with me, Mr. Boyd, brought to you by Talk Radio.
Talk Radio is... Tommy's just bought a new Lotus.
From time to time, class, I will remind you of the purpose of this afternoon's lesson in line with the requirements of the national curriculum. Now that you are sixth formers, you must receive a compulsory sex education lesson, and the head decided it would be a good idea if this happens sooner rather than later in this, which will probably be your last academic year at school. Having discussed and explained the fundamentals of the sex act involving two lawful and willing heterosexual partners, it's time for questions. Hands up at the front, or if you're right at the back, you can telephone, free call 0500 1053 89. And my name is Mr. Boyd. Ashby, you have your hand up in Farnborough.
Hello, Mr. Boyd, sir.
Ashby?
Yes?
Yes.
My girlfriend says we should try to do a bit of foreplay, and I don't understand.
Well, Ashby, have you got your GCSE English?
I failed it, sir, I'm afraid.
Well, let's look at the word foreplay, because it's one of those portmanteau words which one can decipher by breaking it down into its components. Play, Ashby.
Yes.
The second
football, sir.
Play.
Football, sir.
No, the concept of to play. It would be associated with pleasure?
Yes.
Exactly. To play. Recreation.
Football.
Agree? Yes. Play. Another word for play, Ashby, would not be football. Another word for play would be... Come on, I've just given you one.
I don't know, sir.
Recreation, Ashby.
Oh, yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Recreation. Leisure would be another word for play, yes?
Yes.
Now, the word for, as in F-O-R-E, and of course there are many spellings and applications of the sound for, but in this case, the spelling F-O-R-E denotes what?
Doing something, sir? I don't know, sir.
No. Think of a boat, Ashby.
A boat?
A boat.
On the water, sir?
Yes, Ashby. On a boat, if I were your captain, and you were a deckhand, and I asked you to go aft...
To the front? No?
If I asked you to go aft, Ashby, where would you go?
To the front, sir.
No, Ashby, if I asked you to go aft, you would go to the...
Back?
Back. If I told you to go fore, Ashby, now you would go to the...
Oh, I see, sir, yes.
Now you would go to the...
Front.
To the front. So, the word for means...
Front.
Front. Ahead of.
Yes.
Prior to. So, foreplay is both recreational and associated with leisure and pleasure, and happens prior to something.
Prior to what, sir?
Well, exactly, Ashby.
Oh.
What do you suppose foreplay happens prior to?
I suppose we're having a sex education lesson. It must be sex, sir.
Ashby, well done.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for an intelligent question, and thank you for joining forces with me and providing the rest of the class with the answer.
Thank you, sir.
Now, Pierce, in Ipswich, you were very quiet whilst I was talking to Ashby. Your question? You can put your hand down now.
Well, sir, I was wondering. Look, see, me and my brother, we're sort of different, you see, and well, he's got this sort of skin thing round the end of his the P word on the board, the small one, and I haven't got that skin thing on the end of the P word on the board, and I was just wondering what that's for.
Well, Pierce, not unlike the appendix, the male foreskin is considered by some cultures to be unnecessary and indeed possibly the source of some discomfort and even disease. However, this is not proven.
Disease?
Yes.
Right.
However, as I say, this is not proven. This is purely a matter of conjecture. Let me just do a small diagram for those of us that in the class that do not have a penis. This would be the penis so, ending in a small aperture here, and there is a sleeve of loose skin which protects and in fact even envelops the point of the male organ so, and it is this area here which is known as the foreskin. And in a great many often so-called primitive cultures, the foreskin is removed from the newborn male child immediately after birth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was wondering when you do the longer P word on the board, the penny one.
Yeah.
Does that sort of move like away back?
Yes, upon arousal, the male penis enlarges thanks to the greater of blood.
Yeah, I got that.
Yes, which is fundamentally a sponge-like tissue in the male organ, and the foreskin moves back to reveal what is often described as the helmet. Helmet. And which is very sensitive, and does not return to its position until the penis is once again in a flaccid state.
Oh, so it doesn't move backwards and forwards when you sort of jiggle it about, sort of thing.
No, Pierce, no.
Because I was just wondering if people without the foreskin thingy, they got sort of more out of it than the ones that had the bit that on the end.
It's a very good question, Pierce. And let us assume that with regard to the association of pleasure with the sex act, the attendance or otherwise of the foreskin is immaterial.
Oh, good. So I don't have to worry then.
Put your hand down now, Pierce. Thank you. Put your hands up if you have any questions. 1, 2, 3, there, and at the back. And if you're so far away that I can't see you, free call 0500 1053 89. It's your hour of compulsory sex education as dictated by the national curriculum. Now that you are in your sixth form and having discussed the rudimentaries, I am now prepared to take questions. Ruth in Bedfordshire, I see you have your hand up. Yes?
Hello, Mr. Boyd. I want to know, sir, do you have to learn to pray before you can do sex?
No.
Well, my friend Kirsty says that she hears her mum and dad do it, and all she can hear her mummy saying is, "Oh, God."
Maureen in Bristol, put your hand down. I'll come to you in just a second. Hempsall, you have your hand up in Manchester. Hempsall?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
What's your question?
My question, sir, is how many times a day, sir, is it healthy to masturbate? Because I asked my mum, and she said, ask me dad. And I asked me dad, and he said, don't be so cheeky and don't let me catch you doing it. So I'm not quite sure, sir.
Well, Hempsel, I'm very glad that you brought up the issue of masturbation, which, well, Hempsel, what do you understand by the term? Will you be quiet at the front? I can hear every word that you're whispering, and I'm going to see the pair of you at 4 o'clock. Carry on, Hempsel.
Well, actually, the boys don't call it masturbate. We say, like, tugging your todger or bashing the bishop, sir.
There are a number of euphemisms for what is often referred to, I think, perhaps most successfully as solo sex.
Oh, I've not heard that one, sir.
Yes.
Oh.
And contrary to a lot of wives' tales which were peddled freely until recently, there appear to be no harmful effects whatsoever.
I do wear glasses, sir. Could that be an effect?
Well, Hempsel, no. In years gone by, small boys were frightened out of dissipation by being told that it would damage their eyesight.
Yes, sir.
By the fact that they might grow hair on the palm of their hands, or
that could help, really.
It would turn them.
I'm sorry, I digress.
Yes, into homosexuals. But there is no proof whatsoever, and no reason whatsoever to assume that something which is often regarded as a normal and healthy passage through adolescence, as it were, from...
Look, sir.
Yes?
Do grown-ups do this, or is it just boys that do it? Did my dad do it?
I think it's safe to say that happily married people would have no need for solo lovemaking.
Because he was watching Channel 5 last night, sir, and I came to have a glass of milk, and he was very red-faced, sir, and I don't know, but he might have been practicing solo sex, sir.
Yes.
Because he got good hiding and sent back to bed.
Yeah, well, it's best not to notice. As any good teacher will tell you, 9 parts of the art of being a parent or a teacher is what you choose not to notice, Hempsel. And I hope that's cleared that up for you.
You haven't actually answered my question. I want to know how many times a day is it healthy to do it?
But there isn't an answer to the question, Hempsel. I mean, it's horses for courses. We're all different. And in the words of the rock singer, if it feels good, Hempsel.
It certainly does, sir. Yes, thank you, sir.
Do it. Maureen, you have your hand up in Bristol. Thank you for being patient.
Stop it, Deirdre. Mr. Boyd, Deirdre, my friend here, as you know, says that you can only do all the things that you've put on the board when you're in the position of a missionary. Does that mean you can only do them when you're overseas?
In Africa. No, Maureen, no.
Well, what is Deirdre talking about, sir?
Well, there are a number of positions which can be taken by both partners during pleasurable sex, as opposed to sex the purpose of which is conception.
Yes.
And there is much debate as to which set of positions for both partners are most likely to secure a successful conception.
How many positions are there, sir?
Goodness me, how long is a piece of string, Maureen?
Well, I don't know. Deirdre does because she... Could you tell us some of them, sir?
The most commonly used position between two heterosexual, consenting, lawful adults for sex is with the partners facing each other.
Mm-hmm.
And this is often referred to as the missionary position. It's a slightly derisive term, Maureen, because it suggests that it's rather unimaginative and rather prim and somewhat constrained.
What would be an imaginative position, sir?
Well, I would refer you particularly to some of the Eastern philosophies which have examined a whole range of positions for the sex act, Maureen.
Such as, sir?
Well, again, I can only offer you colloquialisms because there are no scientific, there is no scientific nomenclature, nomenclature for nomenclature.
I'm writing that down, so I shall look up in my dictionary later on.
There is no medical or scientific nomenclature for various positions. So you have, for example, the doggy position.
Which I've seen that, sir. But they can't get apart again.
Self-explanatory.
But they can't get apart again. Would that happen to us?
And some people, such as Des Lynam, allegedly enjoy their romancing whilst standing up.
On one leg or two legs, sir?
Well, again, Maureen, it is a matter for the partners themselves to determine. And I think the best advice that I as a teacher can give you is that it is important that both partners feel comfortable and enjoy the physical side of their love making.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd.
Maureen. This is your compulsory hour of sex education as laid down by the National... Will you stop doing that, Fickling? Thank you. This is your compulsory hour of sex education as dictated by the national curriculum. Now that you're in the sixth form, your head decided that it would be a good idea to tackle this one at the earliest possible opportunity. And as your biology teacher, it fell to me. If you have any questions, we will round the lesson up by hearing those. If you're near the front, put your hand up. If you're at the back, you can telephone. Free call 0500 10 53 89.
Tommy Boyd.
Who's that at the back with his hand up? I can just see the hand. Churchill.
Yes, sir.
In Bridgend, what's your question?
Sir, I'm a bit confused about all this. I understand the sex act usually occurs in a bed. Would that be because it is customary for the female to be asleep during sex?
In your case, Churchill, I would have thought possibly compulsory for her sake. Sit down. Sit down! Tracy is in Essex and you have your hand up. Tracy.
Oh, hello, sir. My mate Sharon says that,
Can we start this again, Tracy?
I'm sorry, sir.
Can we start this again?
Yeah?
You sound to me as though you've been watching too many episodes of EastEnders.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Thank you.
My mate Tracy, my mate Sharon
my
says
friend, Tracy.
My friend,
Tracy.
Sharon, her name's Sharon.
My friend Sharon.
My friend Sharon.
Yes?
She says that if you have sex standing up, you can't get pregnant.
Only if you jiggle up and down afterwards, Tracy.
Oh, is that right?
Absolutely.
But I haven't been doing that, sir.
Well, you're probably up the pudding club then, aren't you?
So what shall I do?
Oh, have another 6 or 7, and make sure you claim the Benny.
Oh, I don't know, I don't understand. I haven't had any yet.
There are a number of methods of contraception, Tracy, which an Essex girl like you can employ. Some, of course, are not available to you as an Essex girl, such as, for example, saying no.
Oh, what about them, though?
I beg your pardon?
What about them?
Them?
Who I have sex with?
The men you have sex with?
Oh, yeah, well, my boys at school.
I would have thought a lot of them tried to say no, Tracy. But you are something of an athlete, aren't you?
I'm a bit forceful, I must admit, sir, yeah.
Yes. Do you still hold the Essex girls' record for putting the shot?
I certainly do, sir, yeah, I'm proud of it as well.
Yes. Well, we need all the athletes we can get. Tracy, sit down. Barry also calls from Essex, right at the back.
Hello, Mr. Boyd, sir.
Barry, what is your question?
I'd like to know, sir, if you could possibly tell me, in case you've got any experience of it, sir, about oral sex.
Yes?
Because the thing is, sir,
some of the girls were asking me if I could lick the end of my nose, and then Joanna said she'd see me at the school disco, sir. So if you could explain what that meant, sir,
Yes.
oral sex, sir.
Yes.
Is it anything to do with it, sir?
Well, I can tell, Barry, from the interest that your question has aroused in the rest of the class that this is something which is on a number of people's minds.
Have you ever experienced it, sir? Because I remember, sir, when we went on the school
Neither
outing,
here
sir,
nor there.
do you remember, sir, on the
and
coach,
the
sir?
rumours about myself and Miss Barton...
No, this was Mrs. Harris, sir. Do you remember she fell asleep and she was on your lap, sir, and I came up to ask if we could stop to the toilet,
That's
and you were
quite
biting your lips, sir.
all right, the joke's a joke, young Barry, but that is quite enough, thank you.
And Mrs. Harris couldn't tell me, sir.
All right, Barry, any more? And we'll talk about it at 4 o'clock.
Have you still got the pictures, sir?
Right, that's it, 4 o'clock, Barry. And I will take serious questions about what is a very important subject which Barry raised, the matter of oral sex. In a moment, if you'll just excuse me, I'll be right back. This is your hour of compulsory sex education as required by the national curriculum now that you are sixth formers, with me, your biology teacher, Mr. Boyd, on Talk Radio.
The Cool Show.
Get roll with the people on the dance floor.
Talk Radio.
We call 0500 1053 89.
Well, we've got another 10 minutes or so to go before the bell. We've covered most of the basics in this afternoon's sex education lesson, but if you have any questions, you can either put your hand up, or if you're right at the back of the hall, call 0500 1053 89. Leslie and Hull, I can see that you've got your hand up. You can, as it were, put it down now. I will come to you in just a second. But Sam in Cardiff, your blood must have drained out of your arm. You've had your hand up for such a long time. Sam, what's your question?
Yeah, sir. My question. My boyfriend said that he wanted us to, What's the 69 position, sir?
This,
Has it got anything to do with maths?
Not really, but I think it is a position which many couples report is very pleasurable for both couples. And if we, for example, do you play bingo at all, Sam?
No.
No. But you would know what numbers are referred to by the bingo call two fat ladies.
Yeah.
It is number
88.
88. And that is because if we draw the figures 88, they look rather like, Sam?
Two fat ladies.
Two fat ladies walking along arm in arm.
So they haven't got any arms or legs, sir, right?
No. But we can nevertheless understand that the numbers depict two people standing upright, either walking towards or away from you.
Okay.
Now, if we draw the numbers 6 and 9 and place the numerals close to each other, if we assume that the bulbous part of the 6 and the 9 might represent the heads of two individuals, can we get some idea of how their juxtaposition might be favourable to both parties simultaneously, if we bear in mind the topic which was raised a moment ago by Barry, which is oral sex?
Oh, right. So what exactly are they doing to each other then? You didn't really explain that other boy's question.
Well, I think everybody else understands it, Sam, if I may.
No, they don't.
Well, I think they do.
No, they don't.
Well, they do.
I asked you a question.
Well, I gave you an answer.
No, you didn't.
It's what I said it is.
Wait, well, I wasn't listening, sorry, sir. I was staring out of the window at the trees.
Well, see me at 4 o'clock and I will, see you. There's 5 minutes or so to go before the bell, and as I said a moment ago, Leslie and Hull, you've had your hand up for a very long time. What's your question?
Hello, sir. Me and the girls and some of the boys were talking the other day about sex, parts of the body.
Yes.
And someone mentioned a G-spot.
Yes.
And, well, we don't know what a G-spot is, but the boys seem to know what it is, and they said they'd got one.
It's a type of Swedish furniture, Leslie, and a G-spot is what is left on your G-plan furniture if you make love downstairs.
What?
Terry, you have your hand up in Bristol.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Terry.
I'm very confused, sir. I've been listening to every word you said, and you mentioned flavoured condoms. Why would they be flavoured? My friend says it's so that the dog will eat them, and then your mum won't find them in the bin when she cleans your bedroom out. But I'm confused about the whole thing, sir.
I think it's very unlikely that you would wish a dog to eat a condom used or otherwise. And let's remember also that dogs, being carnivores, would not be attracted to a condom unless it was spam flavoured.
Oh, do they make spam flavoured?
No.
Oh.
They don't. Most flavoured condoms are fruit flavoured.
Why, sir? Why are they flavoured?
Because most condoms contain a lubricant which is also acts as a spermicide.
Oh.
Since the function of the condom is to prevent conception, the spermicide is designed to annihilate the sperm on contact, but it can impart a slightly medical aroma to the proceedings, and so a great many people feel that rather intervenes with the romantic atmosphere.
Oh, I see. So it's more of a smell that they have really than a flavour.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't have thought you'd have eaten them. And I mean, they're not cheaper than chewing gum to buy, are they, sir? Would you have them instead of chewing gum? Is that why they're flavoured?
Kimberly, you have your hand up in Blackpool. What is your question?
Sir, I think you're wrong, sir. My friend told me all about this sex thing ages ago, and she showed me a picture in the toilet, and it shows somebody putting their finger in somebody else's ear. It's not what you said at all. So I think you're telling us porkies, and I don't think it's fair.
Well, I can assure you, Kimberly, that the whole business of sex education down the centuries has been attended by a great many mythologies, some of which were...
This drawing was definitely a finger going in somebody's ear.
Yes.
That's what it looked like to us anyway.
Yes. Well, I think probably this is an anatomical anomaly we're dealing with here, and in all probability the artist was less than accurate in his or her depiction of the organs involved.
Honestly, it wasn't. It was my friend what drew it, and she knows about this, and she even knows where babies come from.
Yes, Kimberly, I think if you gain sufficient pleasure from placing your finger in your ear, then I would not be I would be the last person to stop you.
You put it in somebody else's ear, sir, and that's after you've eaten them. Honest?
Yes. Kimberly, can you make sure that you've taken proper notes from today's lesson, and if there's anything missing from
You said not to, because you was giving us a handout. And has that got pictures, sir?
Yes. Oh dear, it's nearly time for the bell. One more quick question. Watson in Preston, you're a sensible boy.
Yes, sir.
What's your question?
Sir, is it true that Cunnilingus is an Irish airline?
It's very nearly 4 o'clock. I know it takes some of you a few seconds to change from your house shoes into your outdoor shoes, so perhaps you'd like to make your way into the corridor, and I will see you for biology at the same time next week. Goodbye, class.
Please send all complaints about today's Tommy Boyd show to the Tommy Boyd Complaints Department, Talk Radio, PO Box 1089, London W1A 1PP.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.